Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we are getting into this Giantex. I'm going to put the link in the description. Giantex washing machine, mini washing machine. Now, generally speaking, there's a whole bunch of different clones of this type, all kind of pretty much done the same way. They're probably made in Japan and just tacked on with just whatever generic name they can come up with, because I've seen other ones on Amazon that have the same look but just a different name to it, and roughly about that same price range, somewhere around $150, give or take. Some of them are about $10 less, some of them about $10 more, but you get the idea. Now, I'm just going to run through how it basically works, and then I will pause the video at times to show you after kind of putting water into it. But let me just run over everything really quick. So, first off, I put this in my bathtub. Now, you can put it in various places. I find it easier to put into the bathtub, but if you have it where you have water coming into it through a line, and I'll get into that in a moment, then essentially you may want to have this below a certain height level, but then also too, they like you to have it a little bit elevated so that way there's a drain pipe, and I'll show you that in a moment. That's actually right here. There's a hook where you can hook it on, but essentially the way that works is that will come down here, you'll lay it down, it'll just drain out. Now, so this right here is the water inlet, or pretty much the water line coming in. So you would have this attached to a faucet. I found that the tube that is used, I actually have it in the basement, but it's I would show it to you, but it's just a generic plastic tube. But essentially, I found that it's hard to kind of get it to wrap around a sink faucet nozzle. It's not like a one size fits all. It's not designed in a way where it's like a huge opening where it gets around them all. It's actually pretty small, almost the same size as the faucet. So making it actually stick and lock is not very easy. There is a little metal coupler that it comes with, and I don't know if that's for that purpose, but it doesn't seem like as practical trying to get it to lock on there unless you're using some other technique. I've seen some people who reviewed this product before and actually used one of those kind of funnel heads that you would use to put oil in your car engine, and would then have that going into the pipe and then have that then attached to the sink, so that way it's not spilling anywhere. You could do stuff like that, but I think at that point it gets a little bit much. So what I do is I just use a bucket, and then I just fill it up, because it only takes about 1.5 buckets to fill this up. This is the washer area, and then this is the dryer area. So it's just a spin dry. It's not heated or anything of that sort, but it actually dries very well to where you could like leave it out, whether hanging on the back of a chair, whatever the case is, your clothes, and generally speaking, it will be completely dry probably in an hour. So this makes it very dry to the point where you could even wear it, and to be honest with you, it'll probably dry in 10 minutes if you're wearing a shirt that's kind of damp, like a t-shirt. So let's go over the gauges real quick. The wash time goes from, up to 15 minutes. Sometimes they'll say 12 minutes based on like the load size. I just do 15 minutes. It really doesn't matter. Normal, soft, drain. So normally you have soft and you have normal. It's supposed to be about the delicacy, but to be honest with you, since this is not on that level of some really strong, super powered, like your regular washing machines, I just do everything normal. I guess if you have something extremely delicate, you could use soft. And then drain simply allows it to where, we'll get into all this in a moment, but all the little holes and stuff like that here, they'll all just allow the water to drain out, coming out the drain pipe that will go on the side. In this case, this is why I like to use put it in the bathtub, because then it can drain out and you don't need any additional elevation, because the drain, I'll disconnect it here just so you can see, the drain pipe is going to come out like that. So essentially what you have is that the drain pipe, the whole thing doesn't have to be elevated, because now it can lay flat and drain right into the tub, because now your drain of the tub is ground level, where if you had this outside of the tub, obviously you would need a bucket or something like that to have it drain into. So this would now have to be elevated at least to the height of a chair, so that way it can drain out. So I've seen people have it on a stool or a chair or things of that sort. That's why I just recommend you putting it in the bathtub, but that's just my preference. Now this right here is for the dryer. Now You can do up to 5 minutes. That's usually sufficient, though they have given times where in the instructions they'll show that it's for less time. They'll sometimes put it. I just do the 5 minutes regardless. Now, the reason why you have a water intake here is because generally speaking, this could be a rinse cycle as well. But I find, like I said, I don't like this whole setup here, doing it like that. Along with, now if you fill this with water in advance, it's just going to drain out. So you almost need the water draining in while it's on, rather than putting in separately like you would with the washer. So I say that to say my method for this, and a lot of people's method for doing a rinse, is you put soap in, you fill this up with water, you put soap in it, then after the fact, after you finish washing it, you fill this up back with water without soap in it, do another quick cycle, maybe 6 minutes or something like that, just to give it a rinse, let that drain out, then you put it in here. And that's a little easier than you just taking the soapy clothes, putting it in here, then having it dry, and then while it's having water come in it, and then you're kind of wetting it, and then it's soaking like that, and then drying at the same time. So I hope that didn't sound confusing, but that's the way most people do it, and that's the way that I've been doing it, and that seems to be the way that, like I said, I find it to work best for me. So I'm going to start setting things up. I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm just going to show you how things go as I go through each stage. Because like I said, I'm only recording with one hand right now, and I don't have a mic, so I apologize for the sound if it's not that great. But this is kind of a situation where it's kind of hard for me to record. Okay, well, I also want to show you guys something in addition. So I just threw some water in here just to kind of give it a little quick just rinse, because I haven't used it in a couple of days, and just letting it drain out. But I wanted to show you guys this. So right here is the filter. Pull this down, it comes out. So after every wash, you're supposed to clean it. So you see here, it comes out. And it just collects some lint inside it and whatnot. And you just make sure to clean it out. Put it back in after every single use. It might seem like a little bit of a pain, but it's not a big deal. Now, could you get away with, maybe doing 2 or 3 washes without doing that? Yes. But they instruct you to just clean it out, and it's not a big deal. So I try to do that. So one thing I also want to show is that I like to fill this thing up partially. There's levels here. You may not be able to see them that well. Let me see if I can get a little bit extra more light inside here. Okay, you might be able to see now. All right, yeah, you can't really see it, but this right here, there's an M right here. Let me try to zoom in. An M, you can see that. And so right here is an H. You probably can't see it, but just understand it's there. An H for high. That's obviously medium. And so those are the load levels. There's an S down here. I think for small, I don't really know. I can't even see it. Light. There's an L. I'm sorry, light. So generally speaking, that what I like to do is, though those are for the load levels, I like to fill this up halfway. Then I put the clothes in and the soap, because once you put the soap and the clothes in, I put the soap in usually first. I mix it around a little bit. Then I put in the clothes. When you do that, it's going to raise the water level, and that way you'll know how much extra water to put in after the fact. So that way, you aren't overfilling it after the fact, because if you filled it up with water really high, now you put your clothes in, it's going to end up filling up. And generally, for the most part, you could put like about maybe 12 pieces of clothes in here, give or take the thickness of the clothes. I think you could put a little bit more than that, but generally speaking, it's about 12, and then like 8 things in here to dry. So it's not as much that you can dry as it is that you can wash. But yeah, somewhere in that ballpark range, you'll get used to it and kind of get a feel of what you feel okay with doing, and what's not. Now here we go, the clothes is in. Now the only other thing that I'm going to say now, I'm going to fill up more of the water to the high mark. But I just want to make note also that, so this washer can tend to sometimes put like a little bit of like this kind of lint-ish stuff on the, I don't want to call them lint balls because they're not balls, but like these pieces of like, like lint will get into sometime on the fabric. So I try to put things inside out. So just be careful for that if you encounter that. But yes. So we're going to end up filling up the rest of the water. And then from there, we're going to put on the wash. And I'll show you how it works. Okay. So close this here. Just simply turn the dial up to 15. And there you go. Now, while that's doing this thing, I'm just going to quickly show you a little bit on how the dryer works. So the dryer, you pull this up here, you throw in the clothes there. You take this right here and you put it on top of the load of the clothes and flatten it. Because it's got to be even. It can't be like part of it is hanging like this and that. It's got to be flat. After you do that, and that's kind of where people hold it when they're packing it in. After you do that, you shut this and whatnot. You just put it on spin, it spins, and it drains out as well, out the drain pipe. So, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to run it through a cycle of this with no soap on it, just to give it the rinse. And then I'm going to put it in the dryer, and the dryer takes 5 minutes based on what you see on the dial. And that's it. So I'm going to pause the video now, and then I'm going to show you, come back when we get ready to put it in the dryer. So right now I'm just draining from the rinse. So I did the wash and I did the rinse. And one thing you want to make sure too is to clean off the ring that occurs, because you get a lot of like ring debris going around. So just take a paper towel or something like that and just wipe around that. And obviously, like I said, don't forget to pull out and change the filter. Clean out the filter, I'm sorry, before you end up washing again. So now we're going to take this and put it in the dryer. So I put this in here. Now I'm not going to fill all the way, only because I still got clothes left in here. I'm going to have to do a second dry load. So there's no point then filling it to the top. And then also, here, push down, gives it a bit of drain. There's no point in filling it to the top when I have to do a second load anyway. I might as well spread it out a little bit so that way it's not having to do more work. It may not make a difference, but I believe so. If you have less clothes in there, it probably will dry a little better. So we close that. There you go. And now it's going to spin really well. And then we're going to come back when it's all done just to show you how well that it's drained. So here, like I said, it's finished drying. And we're going to do this. And it's, I know you can't see this on camera, but it's very dry. If I go like this, squeeze, you see there's no drops of water coming out. Okay, just to give an idea of that. And obviously, when I squeeze this, obviously when something's wet is wet. So I just say to say it's very dry. It works very well. And like I said, from that point, it's so dry that you could wear this just as it is. This is a mesh shirt, so it's a little, it's even more lighter in regards to having dampness. But, this right here, for example, this is actually underwear. It wouldn't be comfortable to wear this, but it's still like you could do it and just probably in 10 minutes is completely dry. So my point to it is that you can essentially take it from here, maybe lay it down on the couch. That's what sometimes I do, spread it out along the couch, give it like an extra, just an hour just to be sure, even though it needs less than that, and then it's good. So the drying on this thing works very good, especially considering that it's not using heat or anything of that sort, and it only takes 5 minutes. Now what you can do, because what I sometimes will do is I will double it up and then I'll put another 5 minutes on it. I don't think I need to do that with this one, but you can always do that if you want. Put another 5 minutes, and then that makes it extra dry. So, and that essentially is the end of this review. Like I said, link's going to be in the description for you guys to purchase this on Amazon. It right now is currently running for about $140. You'll find different versions of it with different names that look exactly the same. That might be, like I said, under a different name, but essentially the same thing. They're going to work the same way. So if you purchase any of those, just know you can come to this video just to kind of see how it works as a reference. And as always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.